man, who misses football, right? I mean, usually this is the time where the games are getting the best. The first wave of the games during Sundays, uh, second half already kind of coming down to the crunch time. But dang, we're still a little bit away. But let's talk about a little bit of football, right? I mean, obviously everything's starting to really come together. I think what was the date that you were saying was upcoming, Kendall?
I know OTAs. Most teams OTAs are beginning this week. Starting one of the Patriots are beginning this week. And the media will have access to Patriots OTAs starting next Thursday. Then you got mini counts. I believe they'll start in June the 2nd for the Patriots. But most teams are starting OTAs next week and mini count right soon after.
Like I said, football starting, man. But the one thing that we kind of that came to us, right? And shout out to Harv, right? Because Harv brought up a good point, and this is a great talking point, right? What quarterback needs to step it up, right? And we're like, well, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, like what quarterback needs to step it up, take their game to the next level, take their team to the next level, right? And there's so many ways, there's so many quarterbacks that came to mind. I mean, let's get right into it. I mean, we already know Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Those guys are going to be in the AFC Championship year in, year out. I mean, it's a given. And then last year, Jalen Hurts made it all the way to the Super Bowl. And there was some surprise rookie quarterback that also made it to the NFC Championship. Unfortunately, I'm talking about Brock Purdy, and
Hmm.
he broke what was it his hand or his wrist. I'm not too sure what it was, the actual injury, but kind of getting back to it, we're talking about the other quarterbacks, and there's some names out there. Well, if you can just, what are those names that those quarterbacks? We don't have to repeat them over and over, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there's some names out there that can get people going with some talking points. You got Geno Smith in Seattle. You got Sam Darnold with the San Francisco 49ers. Derek Carr, he just got a brand new deal, a brand new leash on life from the Raiders organization over to the New Orleans Saints. He's got a ton of pressure on him to perform. But I think Geno Smith is one of the major guys because Seattle has done a ton with that haul that they got back for Russell Wilson the past two drafts. They've built a lot around him. He's inherited some decent skill position players. And more than anything else, if they can just get consistent Geno from him. We see too much streaky Geno for a few games in a row, 3 games, 4 games in a row. He's throwing for 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 305 and this and that, and QBRs of 126 and all this stuff. Then he'll just disappear for 3 or 4 games where Seattle's offense can only muster 13 points, 17 points, and you look at it like what the hell really happened. So they have too many drives that stall out for some weird reason with him.
Yeah.
His accuracy seems to come and go. If he's not in rhythm, if the running game really isn't going for him consistently behind him, if the play action isn't consistently going, because he's one of the best play action quarterbacks in the league. And when all of those things are going good for him, he looks great. Sounds like some other quarterbacks in the league also, I think. But yeah, him and also, like I said, Sam Darnold with San Francisco. Sam's working on team 3 in 4 years in the league now. He's had some ups and downs with the Jets. That didn't work out as a top 5 pick. He went to Carolina. He was supposed to be somewhat the answer for them for a year. That didn't work. Lost his job there. If he turns out to be the only quarterback in that Shanahan system that fails, they could be it for him, honestly. Things, I mean, just being honest about it. You look at what he has in San Francisco. He has everything. San Francisco had everything for Mr. Irrelevant to be successful. They had everything for Jimmy G to be successful. They had everything for C.J. Beathard, Mullins. They had everything for all of those guys to play well at streaks at a time. So if him go there, if him go there and it doesn't work out, man, and it could be done with him because it didn't work with the Jets. You can always blame the Jets. The Jets is the direct cop-out for everybody, for any quarterback that doesn't succeed. Oh, well, he played with the Jets. Okay, well, give him another shot. Geno got multiple shots off of that. It didn't work with Carolina. Carolina had things going well for him when he first got there, though. But they took the ball out of his hands, i.e., Daniel Jones. They turned him into basically an RPO running back. But once they put the ball back in Sam's hands, because his first year with Carolina, did they start like 5-1 or something? Because they had a victory over not Washington. They had a victory over Houston midway through the season.
Yeah, they played Dallas, and I think McCaffrey didn't play that game, I don't believe, and I think everything went downhill after that Dallas game. I think Cowboys getting their first loss.
Yep.
So everything just went downhill from there.
Yep, McCaffrey got hurt, and then, things did go downhill from there. And once he was asked to do more and they put more on his plate, that's when things started to self-destruct. He lost his job, and he never saw the field again. So he got to work out there, man. I mean,
you said it before too, Walt, that Kyle Shanahan. Some people have given him that name, right? That he's the quarterback whisperer. So you're absolutely right. I guess it's do or die. I guess for Sam Darnold, because you said he's pretty much on the brink of becoming just a backup quarterback. I'm guessing what you're saying if it doesn't work out for him at the 49ers. Kendo, great points. Well, I love how you stayed away from the obvious things, but Kendall, give me some veteran quarterbacks that need to step it up, man. They need to take their game to the next level. Their teams, the fan bases, they're asking for their quarterback to get them to a Super Bowl, at least some kind of excitement, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kirk Cousins from the Vikings. I think year in and year out, this is going to be the year in Minnesota he gets over the hump. Now, he did win a playoff game a few years back against the Saints, I believe. They won that game in New Orleans. And then he came back the next week and lost. Had a Kirk Cousins game against the 49ers. I think Richard Sherman picked him off that game. But I think the Vikings, with Kirk Cousins, the clock is ticking on him. I think he's entered his final day as a member of the Vikings. That division's already going through some cleanup. You see what's going on in Detroit.
Why you say it like he about to pass away?
No, he's in his final days.
He's on NFL hospice right now.
Yeah.
It sounds funny.
It seems like every year that they it's like what they do like last year. Did they get the quarterback out of Mississippi? Kellen Mond. They thought he was going to be. It's like every year they're trying to replace him or whatnot. Even this year. There's some talk they want to replace him in the draft. So I think he's entered his final days as a Minnesota Vikings starting quarterback. That's just what it is. I think he has all the potential, has the talent. He can do it, but can he do it consistently? Can he do it in prime time in the biggest moments? He hasn't been able to do it. So you look at the division landscape. These quarterbacks, every team got different quarterbacks. The line they got Goff, Bears with Fields, Green Bay. They're moving on with the Jordan Love era. Kirk Cousins is the veteran of the group, really. So it's like, I think his days are numbered there in Minnesota. So I would go with Kirk Cousins. He needs to – I'm expecting a big year. They did draft Jordan Addison. Got to give him some offense help. I'm expecting a big year. Got to figure out what they do with the Dalvin Cook situation. I'm expecting a huge year from Kirk Cousins. See if he can finally take them over the top. Another quarterback, a younger quarterback. I'm going with Mac Jones. Everybody saw the stuff that happened last year off the field, on the field. Everything, and I know Mac. He still could have played better. He couldn't control a lot of that, but still, you still have to be a professional and you have to play well. You got to execute. And we can blame Patricia and everybody that was involved, but Mac Jones, I think this year with Bill O'Brien coming in, all the new pieces you got, new offensive scheme, offensive line coach, they did everything they could to put you in a better position to succeed. Mac Jones, big year, get your team back to the playoffs.
Look, we got Harvey chiming in. Harvey's out there. He's being a great husband and is taking care of his in-laws and whatnot. Hell no, not mac and cheese. But of course, let's stick with the veterans right now. And obviously, I'm surprised you guys didn't name these two quarterbacks, but obviously Lamar Jackson with the Ravens. I believe he only has one playoff win. If I'm not mistaken, Kendall, please, because you're the almanac.
Yes, his playoff win is against the Titans in Tennessee a few years ago. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just one playoff win. And then, of course, Dakota Prescott, right? That's the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Everybody loves just let it rain on Dak, but you know what? It's time that they really lock it in. I think if you look at both situations, the Ravens obviously surrounded they've surrounded Lamar Jackson with some nice pieces. They brought in OBJ,
They have.
drafted Zay Flowers. With the Cowboys, they definitely changed up the offense a little bit. It's not going to be this complex option route for every wide receiver, which should be tailored just for the tight end. But from what we've learned in the offseason, they're going to tailor this offense to make it easier. So definitely both these quarterbacks need to step up, especially Lamar because he just got paid. I think he's the
And they got him some nice tours. I say a lot of pressure on Lamar. He was clamoring, wanting tours, and they got it. They got him some players.
well, the thing with Lamar is that I think he's the highest paid quarterback right now, or just player in the NFL, isn't he?
It goes up every time somebody signs a contract.
Well, I think he's the last one. I think he just
Yeah.
surpassed Jalen Hurts' contract. So
Yeah.
I think that kind of rounds it out. Is there any other veteran quarterback out there that you guys have in mind?
I didn't bring him up as far as quarterbacks who need to step up because I had Lamar as one of the quarterbacks I think will step up. I think he's going to have a monster year, man. Considering what they put around him, Ronnie Stanley's healthy. When healthy, Stanley's probably top 3 tackles in football overall. J.K. Dobbins, if Dobbins can stay healthy, along with Gus Edwards. Of course, you guys mentioned the receivers, also Rashad Bateman. When Bateman's healthy on the field,
Yes.
Yeah.
he looks like a legit playmaker. They can move him to the outside. He can play B to 2. Zay Flowers can run everything they need him to run. So health has been the main thing that I think has derailed the Ravens the last couple years, but great coaching is kind of what kept them afloat around playoff times to actually still be in the mix. Outside of that, there's not too many other guys I think will step
I
up.
got one. I can't believe we forgot. Russell Wilson.
Russell
Oh, you
Wilson.
think he will step up?
He needs to. And I hope he needs to step up.
Javier Zuniga says, "What about Derek Carr?" I know
Nah,
Yeah.
he needs to.
Well, you briefly touched on Derek Carr. You said we're going to see him finally with a defense, right, and some
Well,
playmakers.
people gave him the benefit of the doubt. The Raiders have, when you're a quarterback that plays, you can be marginally good, a little bit over average, but if you play for a franchise that's bad and habitually makes bad decisions in the draft, they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. So, he got the benefit of the doubt from the Saints. I don't know how close the Jets were legitimately to trading for him before they got Aaron Rodgers. We heard rumors about it. We heard rumors about what Carolina before the whole draft and everything really started to take form. But yeah, I mean, he got big money. Didn't really prove much with the Raiders. He got them to the playoffs how many times? Well, the first time they got there under him, he wasn't there. He got hurt, and Connor Cook had to start that game.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
But they got to the playoffs against Cincinnati 2 years ago. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, he got big money from the Saints.
Javier Zuniga and Russ, we do not trust. Well, let's talk about some of these newer quarterbacks that are already going into year 3. I think most notable Trevor Lawrence, man. I mean, second year got into the playoffs, won the AFC South Division and got the team into the playoffs. And it looks like Trevor Lawrence is who everybody expected him to be, right? Which is a great prospect coming into the league. But let's talk about it. I mean,
what about?
Because Kendall, you said Mac Jones, right?
Yeah.
Well, who needs to take the next step with these younger quarterbacks and make sure that their team is in it to get into the playoffs, man?
Yeah, well, the comment on Trevor at first, I think Trevor is what we knew he was. He's not flawless. He's not one of those flawless prospects. I think he's a gamer. If you compare him to like Andrew Luck would turn the ball over. Trevor turns the ball over. Guys who have that innate ability to turn the ball over and still keep you in games, you're never really out of it. Trevor can make all of those big time throws downfield. He can make those plays with his legs. and you just get this easy feeling about him when he's on the field. I think not to the Joe Burrow perspective, but he's a guy where okay, he's a true football player, and he can really get it done. So I think Jacksonville, they hit a home run with him. He had the issues he had as a rookie, but how much of that do you really factor to him just being a rookie and that toxic situation he was in year one? But I think they got everything set up perfectly for him. Doug Peterson came in, cleaned everything up, and he had a dramatic turnaround. Did he throw 27 touchdown passes, I believe? And then his rookie season, he went, 14 weeks without throwing one, I think?
Yeah.
I will say this. Do you remember the game just recently against the Titans? I think he threw 4 picks to I think it was Asante Samuel alone, wasn't it? Or 3?
No,
No,
against the Chargers. That was against the Chargers.
I'm sorry. You're right, against the Chargers. But he threw 3 to
on the playoff.
To Asante Samuel alone, which was, I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
But
like I said, Luck used to have those type of games too. Those real head scratchers, and then he'll mess around and win 37-35.
I mean,
but another dude I think is gonna, and you may hate this, Jerry. However, you may hate this. I think Sam Howell is gonna play tremendously better than people really think he is.
Ooh.
And you were a fan of Sam Howell also, I think, in Carolina. We both said coming into that draft, he threw the best deep ball out of any quarterback in that class.
Very strong arm.
You took everything from him. De'Ami Brown, the other starting receiver, he also left in that draft. He lost Michael Williams, not that guy, but Michael Carter. He lost Javonte Williams. He lost his entire offense.
He did. He really did.
Didn't he have Josh Downs too?
Yeah, he had Downs. Downs, I believe, was a sophomore after that season, so he had a bunch of young guys. The guy we drafted, Antoine Green, this year, he was an underclassman too, so he had to break in a bunch of freshmen, a bunch of underclassmen, and I think that's something that people really didn't take into account. That and the fact that people who didn't really follow football just said he looked like Baker Mayfield, so they didn't like him, which is the most idiotic crap I ever heard about evaluating a quarterback. But no, I like Sam Howell a lot, man. If you look at what they have in Washington with Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson and Curtis Samuel, yeah, they got some guys that can get downfield. He can also really help them timing-wise. He's mobile also.
Yeah.
So you may not want to hear it, Jerry. Eagles fans may not want to hear it. Oh, yeah, and also Eric Bieniemy. Javi just mentioned that. I also think he's got a solid situation with Bieniemy.
Av says Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields must-watch quarterbacks, right? Mm-hmm. And then he did also says Sam Howell only because Eric Bieniemy is his coordinator. Eric B will be the difference, but it's tough division, and Eric B will be tested. This is a great topic right here.
What about Trey Lance?
Ooh,
does he play football anymore?
I mean, even Zach Wilson. Ooh.
Alleged football? No, well, Zach. Oh, man.
But Trey Lance has a better chance to play than Zach Wilson.
Isn't Zach the backup? Because I know Mike White signed with the Dolphins, so Zach is the backup, isn't he?
Yes. And you never know. He gets to learn under one of the better quarterbacks.
All it takes is one injury, man.
Yep.
And you on the football field.
So
hope that doesn't happen though.
Kendall, you said mac and cheese, right? Needs to step it up.
Yes, sir.
I guess go ahead and give it. I think this is where Justin Fields needs to really take control over the situation he has. It completely revamped that entire. It looks like they're building a new culture there for the Bears, so that's exciting to see. I think Justin Fields he should have been the second quarterback drafted in that draft class. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that statement, Walt or Kendall.
No, I do. I thought he was better than
Zach Wilson,
Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Kellen Mond. Yeah, I thought he was better than all of those guys.
And I agree, but look at what Chicago has done. They were able to get him DJ Moore, then they went and they got Darnell Wright. So they're adding
around him.
Yeah, they're getting them protection, they're getting them pieces. And you still got Darnell Mooney, and you still got players that have been.
Justin needs to step it up. The special ones step it up. It's not enough to just be a special talent.
And the
special
reason
quarterbacks step it up, and they win with limited resources.
and
So
the reason too, right, is because the NFC is so wide open. So if he doesn't do it now,
I don't expect Chicago to be that relevant. Unless the teams that finished ahead of them are bad. Now, do we think the Giants are going to take a step back? I don't really expect them to take a step back. I don't think Washington's going to take a step back. I think Atlanta's going to be better than Chicago. Seattle, the Rams are a major wild card. And a lot of people have them currently right now mocked to have a top 5 pick next year.
yes.
Yeah, Rams. They're gonna have And what about Tampa?
Tampa too. They got the Baker man over there.
Baker Mayfield.
But he does got some weapons, and I know he had weapons
Mike
when he was
Evans.
in Cleveland.
Yeah,
he has 2 weapons when he was in Cleveland too, with Jarvis and Odell and all that, and Joker, all those players, Chubb that he had down there. But he's in Tampa now. Tampa is an interesting, sneaky team. Nobody's really talking about that. Yeah,
but it's like we don't know what they really are now. Like Tom is gone. Tom had a honeymoon there for about 3 years.
Yeah. He had a Super Bowl.
Leonard Fournette is gone. They drafted decent this past draft, but
yeah, they did.
I mean, it's like the coach and then the coordinator situation. Like you can't really get a firm grasp on what Tampa is right now. They kind of like going with the flow of the ocean. Sort of with the Saints, although the Saints went out and got them a veteran quarterback. But I mean, Baker's lost his job the past 3 stops he had. He had a bright Monday night moment, or was that a Thursday night moment?
Thursday night
against the Raiders, was it?
Yeah,
so
Thursday night.
The odds of Baker keeping that job for 17 games is, oh boy. Could we see your boy from Florida? Kyle Trask. Trask.
Wow.
We could see Trask, man.
And then also we can't forget about Daniel Jones. He's a money man too. So
what about Taylor Heineke in Atlanta? Could we see him at some point in time over Ridley?
I don't think they have enough around Daniel Jones in New York outside. I mean, I know they drafted Jalen Hyatt. They brought back Slayton and Shepard.
Guys who can't stay healthy for him.
Yeah, I think they drafted Bryce Ford where he's an undrafted guy. I mean, they signed what's the slot receiver from the Colts? Campbell?
Paris Campbell.
I think he's there, but they don't have nobody that. Well, they did make the trade for the tight end out of the Raiders. They did do that.
Yeah, Darren Waller.
Darren Waller. They got to make the trade for him. So it'll be interesting to see how the Giants look. But I just thought they gave him all that money. They need a number one. They need a wide receiver, somebody that's going to command double teams on the outside or something. I feel like they got a bunch of twos.
They need Hyatt to hit.
But maybe they're gonna play it. They're gonna scheme up things from inside out. They're gonna Waller's the number one receiver basically, and then you work with a bunch of two. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but they bought the guy. He can do it.
Yeah, more than likely they're gonna run the offense from the inside out.
Yeah,
and we'll see, right?
Take those shots when they can.
Saquon, I think he's still holding out, isn't he?
Yeah.
They got till July 17th to get a long-term extension done. But it looks like the teams want running backs. They just don't want to pay them, right? I think that's what the consensus is right now. Hey, but these are all great topics, all great situations. I think right now it's a consensus that it's not just the usual suspects that need to step it up. I think a lot of these quarterbacks are already starting to come into their own, and they've gotten the right pieces around them. So, definitely, I think if you look at it, every quarterback aside from Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen
needs to step it up,
and Joe Burrow need to step it up. Exactly,
step it up, Burrow. Step it up, Levis. Even though you haven't taken a snap yet, step it up. That's gonna be the phrase for this season. Man, step it up.
Well, that's
I need to step it up.
Man. That's it for us. It's fun, right? We're getting so close to football, man.
It's time to start hitting now, man.
We're less than about 2 months away from training camp. A little less than 2 months.
Yes, sir. Kendall, throw in your plug.
Ken's Patch Talk right there on the screen. You can find me on IG, Twitter, YouTube, Ken's Patch Talk. On Instagram, it is an _ Ken's _ Patch Talk.
Whoa.
Me, I'm at the Av Lions. That's right there on the screen. At the Av Lions for all your Detroit Lions talk.
And of course, you can catch me and Javier on the Cowboy Cast Right now we took a little break just because well, because Harv has his in-laws in town, so he has to show them around. You know what I mean? So we'll be back though. We will definitely be back live, and we appreciate it. We want to say thank you to all those that have been subscribing. Thank you. We have actually officially hit 300 subscribers here on East West Football. Please, if you're watching this on the on the replay, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. If you want to know when we go live, turn on those notifications. Of course, leave us comments, man. We love the discourse, and help Walt get to the 1K, help Ken get to 1K, help the Cowboy Cats get to 1K, and East West Football, man. We say thank you, man. That's it for us. You guys have a great Sunday.